Hello, good morning students. Welcome to e-learning. We are learning economics of standard 12th and we are going to go with a new chapter today that is our chapter 7 in economics, that is population. So we are going to know about the population, why there is an increase in the population, and this is a major factor for all types of problem in an economy. So because of rise in population, there is a continuous rise in population in our country India. We are going to know about this an important chapter, and we are going to learn about the different problems, different causes of the population, as well as what are the remedies to overcome this population and how the country will get developed if population becomes constant. So stay tuned and let's start with our next first lecture in population, that is lecture 1. Today we are going to learn here, that is introduction, followed by the meaning of population explosion, and then after we are going to know some of the topics covered under population trends in India. So let's start with our first lecture, that is first topic is introduction. Now before I want to go with introduction, I want you to know what is the world population presently. You find that it is 7.7 billion population which has been there in the world, where we find that currently at present 2020, if you are going with the worldometer, you find that it is 138.9 or 138.8 something crores of people are there in India. So here we can say that out of 7.7 billion of people, we are having nearly 1.40 crores of people in here in India. We stand with the second largest population in the world. Our country stands with the second largest population in the world, which we already know. But why it's so? What all things happened due to last century? This all things, so last 120 years, how the population has been changed and what are the factors affecting that, all these things we are going to learn in this chapter. So be take some interest and be well to go with this chapter. Chalo. So here it talks of, as per the 2014 data, it talks that there was a 7 billion population in the world, where India has reached 1.25 billion. Out of 7 billion, 7 billion means 700 crores of people were there that time. And you find that from that India was with 125 crores of people as per 2014 data. Here it is not written as per what data, but here the introduction talks about this thing, that population was 7 billion. Then after you find that if our population was 125 crores that time, that is after 2011 census, that is 121 in 2011 and 125 in 2014, you find that government has to do something. Government has to do something to fulfill the basic requirement of our growing population. We have learned in our second uh, previous chapters, both two previous chapters, about poverty and unemployment, which has been become a major problem in our country, where we find that our 21.9, that is approx 22% of people are under poverty in our country, as well as you find that there are lakhs of people or crores of people are unemployment. There are disguised unemployment, there are frictional unemployment, there is cyclic unemployment. So you find that what all the root cause is nothing but, we can say, the growing population creates this particular thing, and government has to do certain fulfill the requirement of this particular growing population, because as in well they are the part of the country. So government has to take the initiative to fulfill their requirements, because every person which has been added in a country, they want what, the basic requirement like food, clothing and shelter. So they require the piece of land, they require the air to breathe, they require the food to eat. So all these three becomes the basic necessary things which they require. Now coming to the natural resources, we have so many mountains, rivers, everything. So we are not talking about mountains and everything, but we are talking about natural resources. All this together is a luxurious, or we can say it is a natural resources to the jewelry to our country, where all the people have their own rights on this natural resources also. But you find that if we try to use this natural resource at the most to fulfill our basic requirement, we can go with the population. But many a times it does not happen. So we find that there is a lack of inefficiency because of more population growth. and that's why we find that our per capita income, because of growing population, our per capita income has decreased, though we have increased our national income. We have studied in the second chapter itself. Again, you find that the natural resources of India and the population of India having some difference between, and two aspects which we are going to learn. The first one, it talks about as our population is increasing, जैसे जैसे हमारी आबादी बढ़ रही है, जनसंख्या बढ़ रही है, the limited resources, we have the natural resource which is limited. Why limited? Because it is within our country. हमारे कंट्री के अंदर जितना नेचुरल रिसोर्स वो हमारे लिए वो लिमिटेड ही है. So you find that it is getting depleted faster and fast, because we have to fulfill the basic requirement. Now at presently, like I told, it is 139 or 138.8 crores of people which are living here. So what you find that this, to fulfill the basic requirement of 138 crores of people, you require good amount of natural resources growing in your country. Again, if you try to use the maximum at present stage, what our future generation will go? So here it becomes a dangerous factor or dangerous thing, that if we try to utilize at present, our future generation will suffer from this particular type of natural resources. There is a less natural resources available for our future generation. Second topic, it talks about that if our population is of unskilled people, like majority of population in India, we have studied in unemployment, that is they are growing under, where they are growing under rural areas, villages. So 70% of people resides in rural area, and there the population growth is more than the urban cities. So here we can say, if this particular people are the farmers and there creates a disguise unemployment, अगर वहाँ पे disguise unemployment, वो लोग ने natural resources ज़्यादा utilize नहीं किए, वो लोग outfield में काम करने नहीं गए, वो लोग एक ही चीज़ पे अटक के एक ही जगह पे काम कर रहे हैं, which we have seen. So what is happening up? Our natural resources will not get utilized optimally. मतलब जितना utilize होना चाहिए उतना तो utilize नहीं होगा अगर वो unskilled people रहेंगे. So these are the two major factors that we find that this became a major problem for development of our country. So if the population is increasing, we have to fulfill the basic requirement, and our natural resources get depleted. Another side, it says that if suppose population has increased with unskilled peoples, उन लोग का कुछ स्किल नहीं आता हुए, they cannot do that, they cannot able to survive, and all this particular unskilled people just creating what population, they are under poverty, they are doing a very low labor job, everything. So what is happening up? हमारा natural resources उतना utilize नहीं होगा उस टाइम पे. When it is not getting utilized that much, we find that our economic development will not able to happen. हमारा इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट नहीं हो पाएगा. So these are the two things, and because of that we are going to study our 7th chapter, that is population. How and what are the causes of this particular population increase over the period of 120 years, how this population has increased, what are the reasons behind this. Again, we find that what are the root cause which is creating or which is affecting to develop our country. We are at the developing stage. It is also known, India is also known as fastest emerging country, but we find here, because of this population unskilled persons, there are some of the things which makes poverty and unemployment a major factor in India, and that is because of the root cause, that is population. So we are going to learn everything about these things in our chapter. Again, let's start with our first topic in our chapter, that is population explosion. What is explosion? Explosion मतलब बॉम्ब जैसा फूटना. Yes. So हमारे यहाँ पे इंडिया के अंदर population भी बॉम्ब की तरह फूट गया है. कैसे? We are going to know that here the meaning says that our death rate has decreased ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. हम अगर देखा जाए तो पहले जो इंडिया के अंदर लोग मरते थे और अभी के लोग जो मर रहे हैं उसके अंदर देयर इज अ डिक्रीज इन द डाउनफॉल. सो आउट ऑफ एवरी 1000 पीपल देयर वाज अ डेथ ऑफ 146 पीपल, बट एट प्रेजेंट वी फाइंड दैट एवरी 44 पीपल आर डाइंग आउट ऑफ 1000. मतलब एक एरिया में, एक जगह पे, या अगर एक स्टैटिस्टिक लिया जाए कि हर साल पर डे कितने लोग मर रहे, तो पर 1000 में 146 पीपल वर देयर अर्लियर, बट एट प्रेजेंटली इट इज 44 people only which are dying. So ये कैसे हो गया? Because first thing is there is an increase in birth rate. So more and more population are coming up, so more and more number of thousands of people will increase, and उसके सामने हमको दिखता है कि भाई हमारा population rise की वजह से हमको दिखता है there are only 44 people are dying out of 1000. So Actually the problem is the death rate has fallen, and secondly the birth rate, that is the birth rate has increased, not fallen. It has been increased tremendously far away than the death rate. अगर death rate बोला जाए, अगर हमारा 4% है, 4.4% है, so we find that our birth rate is nearly to the 10 to 15%. So what is happening up, every now and there is a birth taken place in India. Every second there are so many people, so many childs are being born, babies are being born. So you find that compared to the babies which are coming in the population, there is a less amount of people which are dying. So this gap increases the population. This gap, because of less people die and more people are coming, the gap this much is increasing every day by day. And because of that gap, today India has reached 138.9 crores of people compared to the previous thing. So this is the current data. You have not to write in the examination, but you have to go with the writing of 2011 and 2014-15 data. Clear? Because still the census is been coming next year, not this year, so we have to continue with 2011 census only. Now, chalo, the next point talks about this has become the major and important reason of causes of different various problem मतलब बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम का रूट कॉज पॉपुलेशन है. जैसे मेजर प्रॉब्लम में हम 2 चैप्टर्स पढ़ चुके हैं, दैट इज पॉवर्टी एंड अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. अगेन वी कैन टॉक अबाउट द पर कैपिटा इनकम हैज बिकेम लो. जितना भी हम चाहे, कितना भी सेल्स करके हम नेशनल इनकम बढ़ा दे, लेकिन हमारा पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ अगर उससे ज़्यादा है, जिस नेशनल इनकम ग्रोथ के से, what we find that our per capita income will become lower and lower. तो हम वो standard of living achieve नहीं कर पाएंगे because of more population. Then here we can say we have witnessed, we means here the world has never witnessed such a fast growth. अगर हम दुनिया की बात करें तो इंडिया जैसा ग्रोथ रेट दुनिया ने कभी देखा नहीं, और दुनिया के अंदर हुआ भी नहीं कि ये पर सेंचुरी के अंदर कितना करोड़ में पहुंच गया. It is crossed 100 crores. So this is what is happening up. And what are the reasons for here? We can say there was a tremendous increase in the population in the year 1931 2011. Okay, यहाँ पे डेटा नहीं दिए. It is taken from table 7.1 which is on a page number 81 in your textbook. So you can go with that particular table where you find that in from 1931 to 2011 the population has never came down. It has only grown. It has reached at their height. So you can also find in the next page, that is the graph is also given. So you find that from the year 1951 population of India was 36.1 crore, which has increased to 121.02 crores in 2011. मतलब over the period of 60 years we have increased by 85.7 crores of people. Are you getting it? कि 60 years के अंदर 85.7 people ज़्यादा आ गए. Not is the total. That's why the total became 121.02 crores. So you find that if we try to calculate, if we try to divide, we have grown by 2.5% every year. हर साल 2.5% से growth rate increase हो रहा है. If you try to calculate 10 crores, or suppose we can say our population is 1 crore also, 1 crore of 2.5%. Every year 2.5 lakh people are adding up. If you try to calculate for 60 years, what will be happening up? कितना tremendously increase हो गया. So same way 36.1 crore 2051 में था. In that you find that if you try to increase by every year by 2.5% of growth rate, we have reached with 121.02 crores. And it is a very fastest growing country in the world with China along. So this is what is happening up, and this is what it becomes. Again we find that because of this more population and high growth rate of population, you find that this population explosion was being found in 1970. ये आइडेंटिफाई कब किया था? 1970 में हमने देखा था कि भाई ये पॉपुलेशन एक्सप्लोजन कर रहा है, ऐसे हमारा डेथ रेट कम हो रहा है और बर्थ रेट इंक्रीज हो रहा है. इसकी वजह से हमारा जनसंख्या, दैट इज पॉपुलेशन, इज बीन इंक्रीजिंग डे बाय डे. So this is all about your population explosion. If it has been asked, you have to write India's death rate is continuously falling, and it has been fallen over the period of time, where the birth rates have been increased, far increased than the death rate. And you find that the net increase from both the side that creates an population explosion. मतलब ये दोनों के गैप्स के अंदर जो सरप्लस बच्चे बच रहे वो पॉपुलेशन क्रिएट कर रहे हैं. चलो, so again you have to go with remembering that in 1975 they have identified this is what the population explosion is been. But स्टार्टिंग कहाँ से हुआ था? 1931 से अभी तक पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीज ही हो रहा है. चलो, लेट्स गो विद द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक फॉर टुडे, दैट इज पॉपुलेशन ट्रेंड्स इन इंडिया. भाई हमारा पॉपुलेशन का ट्रेंड कैसा है, कैसे दिख रहा है पॉपुलेशन? अगर हम 120 साल पीछे की बात करें, दैट इज फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 1901 till 2011. So over the period of time, 110 years, how the population has grown, how the population has increased, we are going to know again. So इसके अंदर हमको क्या क्या पता चलेगा? The trend shows you the how the size of population has increased. This trends will show you how what are the population growth with different years. This trends will show you the birth rate, how over the period of time how the birth rate has increased. Again this will show you how the death rate has been increased. Then again it will show you how much percentage of increase in population that is there in rural area and urban area, followed by the proportion of female, how many females are available to the male compared to the male. So you find that it is also known as gender ratio. We have studied this gender ratio in 11th standard. Okay, so small meaning which came for gender ratio, that is the number of female available per 1000 males. अगर 1000 मेल है तो उसके सामने फीमेल कितनी है उसको बोलेंगे gender ratio. Then all these statistical informations are been there given, and it will help us to interpret and analyze how this population trends has been showing us different types of thing. So next lecture we are going to learn about how this particular size of population, growth rate of population going to be major factor how population has been grown. So we are going to analyze and learn with the help of table and graph. But still the topic is not left yet. You have to go with the 3 more points here, that is our very first population census. See, every year, every 10 year our population is been calculated and the data is been published out. So it was started or it was taken initiative by Jamshedji Tata in 1871. इनिशिएटिव लिया मतलब उन लोगों ने स्टार्ट किया कि उस टाइम से हम पॉपुलेशन काउंट करेंगे जब हम इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं थे. क्लियर? अगेन यू फाइंड दैट सो आफ्टर 20 years, 20 साल तक उन लोगों ने जब कैलकुलेट किया, उन लोगों ने तब इनिशिएटिव, दैट आइडिया केम इन 1871, but the result which was shown by Jamshedji Tata was after 20 years, that is a systematic census was conducted in 1891, and thereafter it has been conducted every 10 years. by 1891 के अंदर फर्स्ट उन लोग ने वो किया था, बाहर निकाला था फर्स्ट सेंसस डेटा, एंड एवरी 10 years it was been calculated. लेकिन we got independence in 1947, so our first independent India's census report was being given in 1951. So you have to remember this 3 years. 1871, the initiative by the Jamshedji Tata to calculate population census. Second, you find that he has given after 20 years, that is 1891, you find that systematic census report was being given, and he told every 10 years there should be a calculation of population. And then after, our very first census of independent India was been launched in 1951. So these are the 3 points for today. I hope you have been very much excited to go with this chapter. Stay tuned and go with study your textbook as well as our PPT also. If you still find any doubt, you can just call or message me on my number. Clear? So let's go with this a quick revision for it. We have seen that there are 7 billion people, 700 crores of people are there, out of 125 crores are in India. We have seen that because of growing population, government has to meet the basic requirement for all the peoples. Second, it talks about the natural resources are getting depleted and population is growing. So if population uses the natural resources, our natural resource will eradicate, मतलब वो खत्म हो जाएगा जल्दी और future generation के लिए नहीं बचेगा. Then we have seen in the second aspect talks about if the population grows with unskilled peoples, our natural resources will never get ऑप्टिमाइजली यूज्ड, हम बहुत अच्छी से यूज नहीं कर पाएंगे, अल्टीमेटली हमारा इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट नहीं होगा, विल बी लाइक डेवलपिंग नेशन ओनली. Then we have seen population explosion. The meaning says that the death rate has been fallen down, and the birth rate has been far increased more and more, and because of this the net population which has been there, the difference has been growing more and more of population here in India. And over the period of 1931 to 2011, it has been increased every year, and we find that from 1951 to 2011, that is from 36.1 crore we have reached in 2011, that is 121.02 crores of population. Then we have seen there are different population trends, that is size of population, growth rate of population, death rate, birth rate, male to female ratio. So all these things we are going to know under the trends of population. And lastly, in 1871, Jamshedji Tata has taken initiative to calculate population census. Second, it talks about he has successfully achieved after 20 years, and he has given his first report in 1891, and after that every 10 years the population census is been calculated, and first independent India census report came in 1951. So this was a quick review for your chapter 7. If you find still doubt, you can just call or message me. I hope you are been writing all the notes. Thank you.